I've been here for 5 years and I've owned 5 businesses in 5 years. And I started giving back to the community. So I started asking myself, what should I do? I started browsing ideas. Then I'm like, podcast. I'll start a podcast. I won't be able to teach the audience because I'm not expert, not qualified to help anyone. But what I can do is ask bold questions to qualified people. And I'm going to ask, how did you make your first million? Because this is credibility. The purpose of this podcast was from the beginning is giving value and giving back. Because I felt like I owe this community.
So for everyone to know, we just met a couple of days ago at the RiskCon 360. This is the power of networking. I didn't know any of them. And now we're friends. Hopefully we'll become close friends. And we're here to serve you. So we'll go and we'll introduce ourselves. We'll start from you.
My name is Samantha Peters. I am from Connecticut. I'm a speaker, author, and I'm also a podcaster, and I have my own business.
Damn. By the way, I didn't mention, I'm surrounded with like 10 million followers right now. If you check their Instagram accounts, holy moly. So I swear.
My name is Justin Lewis. I'm the founder and CEO of Metropolis Marketing. We're a data, tech, and AI marketing company. I've been a 20-year DJ veteran for a lot of artists and a lot of major events all over the nation. I also am a professional boxer. My last fight was at the convention center here in Las Vegas. I took home a title belt. And I'm also a venture capitalist for small to medium businesses, as well as a Bitcoin investor.
Congrats, man. Sure.
Yeah, my name is Chris Wright, founder, CEO of the Artificial Intelligence Trust Council. We see some of the big issues going on with AI today, and what we're doing is helping to address those. So understanding what is real, what is fake online. Ultimately, we're trying to install a blockchain voting mechanism to allow communities to determine the sophistication or the IQ of AI so that we can bring it into alignment with humanity so we don't go over the cliffs.
Amazing. Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm JC, and I'll tell you why I started this podcast and why you're here today. My first business, actual business, not imaginary business, I started in 2019. And I thought I knew everything it takes to start and grow a business. Turned out I know nothing. I just know how to bring clients because I have blue eyes and I know how to bullshit people. And then I did every single mistake I can think of. And then I wasn't able to actually learn until I was able to afford proper education by coaches, mentors, etc. So I decided to start this podcast to ask you questions and you give the audience advice where they can get business education for free so we can actually help and serve our communities. So shall we get started?
Let's get started.
Does anyone have a question that wants to start with?
Sure, I could ask it.
Claire, you don't need to do that.
Oh, okay. No worries. I recently invested in a company called Data Global Hub through our first conference in beginning of this month, actually, November 5th. It was the largest data tech and AI conference on the continent. We had an incredible turnout. We had 2,000 paid attendees. We also gifted the rest of the attendees that attended. We've also gotten invited to go to Qatar to present. And pretty much what our product is an educational platform where we're teaching kids and also young adults in Africa how to utilize data tech and AI. We feel like that resource is not reaching those people in Africa. My business partner's from Nigeria, and we figured that we would go ahead and start there, be the first boots on the ground in Africa to make sure that people learn and educate themselves on data tech and AI.
Good job, man.
Yes.
Good job. Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely.
Love that.
Yep.
Because we were at a networking event, I'm going to ask you this question. How was your networking event? And do you have any trick or advice to share with the audience for when they go to their first networking event?
Yeah, definitely. I can start. So I go to quite a bit of networking events and I find it so valuable. I grew up in a really toxic household, so I didn't have mentors. My parents were not role models for me. So I had to seek outside mentors, and I've met so many incredible people, and I cultivated so many great relationships. And I meet a lot of my podcast guests that are filled with wisdom and so much knowledge. And I feel like everyone is just so willing to help. I think for any of you who want to become successful, you need to surround yourself with the right people, and it will absolutely change your life because it has changed mine.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. It was just refreshing to be around like-minded minds. I think great minds think alike, especially coming from my background as well. I can definitely relate. All of my friends are still back home. Nobody left the city. same story that a lot of us as successful entrepreneurs face. The people that we grow up with, we grow apart. And it was just great to be in a room of people that are go-getters, that also think, dress, like the same things. And I think that that's one of the biggest takeaways, is getting around people that are striving to be where you're going in life, and connect with those people instead of being bogged down by people that are trying to necessarily keep you down at their level, but reaching for the stars with people that are actually trying to go there.
Like that. So yeah, I would say, no need to that. This is a bit with Tal and Bill Walsh, and they did a great job, and they really set the tone. It's casual, it's fun. There's a lot of high net worth billionaires left and right. There's millionaires, but everybody's like down to earth and willing to lend a hand with each other. And that's one of the things I would say to your audience about networking. Don't focus so much on yourself, but focus on helping other people network with each other. And that has a carry-on effect where you ultimately network with a lot of folks. And so if you're a connector, a lot of people make a living just on that. And you'll be surprised all the deals and information you come across that you never would have known if you just try to connect.
Matchmaker. Exactly. Matchmaker. Well, I was actually very impressed by the humbleness of the people there, the successful people at the event. I think there was a couple billionaires there, and they were just talking to anyone. Hey, I'm going to ask you a question. I harassed the shit out of them with questions. I don't know, who's this guy? And they still entertain me. And that was very, very impressive. My trick is be authentic. Be authentic and be there to serve. Don't look at people in networking events as dollar signs. Potential prospect, potential client. This could be no, don't do that. Go make some friends and try to serve. Like he said, you met someone interesting, someone else interesting, you think they're a good match, introduce them to each other. Good things is going to come your way. Now, I ask this question for almost all of my podcasts because I get asked all the time. It's about motivation and discipline. So do you think that you're motivated and disciplined all the time? And what's your tricks?
That's a great question. I don't think I'm motivated all the time, but I have a really strong why. And I know I'm going to be the one in my family that breaks all of our generational curses, alcohol, suicide, just anything related with disease. And I know I have to show up to be that person because I know I can be. So I think it's not easy for most people, but I feel like when you have a dream and you have a goal and you have that vision, you can strive for it every day. And I know that I want to leave a huge legacy behind, and I want my children, my future children, to know that they could do or have anything that they want. And the world is limitless. And so I think you really need to cultivate that mindset and have that drive, but it's absolutely possible. And you don't have to be defined by the memories of your past. You can create an incredible future. So do you think it takes time to cultivate that, especially if you don't grow up seeing that? And I definitely didn't. So you, just like you were mentioning too, you just have to surround yourself with people and see it's possible. I never thought it was possible for me until I surrounded myself with people that made it possible. I'm like, wow, if they could do it, I can do it too. So I definitely think it takes a mindset shift, and I think it takes that decision. But ultimately, if you have a big vision and a why, I think, you have to.
I'm about it. Thank you. And actually, you already did. You overcame all the curses. Yes.
Thank you.
I think my life is built on acts of service. I think what happens a lot of the time, especially with me, and I'm sure other people can relate, is that you get labeled all sorts of things in the industry as you're trying to make a name for yourself. Opportunist, say, whatever the case may be. And what I realized is that over time, things compound, just like stocks compound in interest. And it gets to a certain point where you no longer can be tested because there's only so much that you can do on bullshit before it's like, okay, how at this point, right? So I think the biggest thing for me is always acts of service, always trying to elevate other people's businesses first so I can show people that I actually add value to them in their lives. And in exchange, I've been able to create value for me and myself. And I think that being a Christian and being a very faithful follower of Jesus, that has also given me opportunity to really elevate other people's lives in my network and sphere that work with me and work for me, because I'm always trying to give people the information instead of hoarding it so that they can become better as well.
Love that.
Yeah. What's the question again?
The question was, do you feel like you're always motivated and disciplined? And what's your tricks if you are?
Yeah. Well, anybody who's, starting to, venture on their own, to go out on their own, it's like, that's really the battle. It's not with the world or, your competitors, it's really yourself, and sticking with whatever dream that you have, and not letting go of it, and you'll be surprised how many people on your journey in whatever, business concept or whatever you're trying to do to change your reality. You'll have all these people that will pop into your life that will tell you no. They'll tell you, no, stop what you're doing. It's wrong. And it's a symptom of you moving to that next level. And so if you can push through that and take criticism, and don't discount everything they hear, because they're trying to help you ultimately, but not to let hold you back for your dreams is critical.
I love that. For me, motivation is inconsistent. Motivation is your girlfriend, discipline is your wife. Here. This. And for motivation, if you actually want to attain motivation, you need to find your why. You need to find such a fucking good why. It could be proving your dad wrong. I don't care. Find a good why. And for discipline, take baby steps. All of us wants to be disciplined, but we sit down and say, okay, I'm quitting alcohol tomorrow. It doesn't work this way. You have to slow down the alcohol, and then you'll quit it eventually. If you want to start working 10 hours a day and you're going from 5, you need to go an hour extra every week. So for discipline, baby steps. For motivation, find your why and put it everywhere. I have it in my vision board in my bedroom, in my office, on my phone. Everywhere I turn, I remember my why. So anytime I'm shifting off of my why, that's a reminder. So fool yourself. Have your mind to see your why all the time. And then that's how you program yourself to keep the motivation high.
You love that.
Now, it's one of your turns to ask a question.
I would say out of everyone on the panel, what would be the greatest advice that you would give to somebody who has started a business but is having trouble scaling their business? Because I think we all get to a point in our businesses where we're like, wow, yes, how can we scale this beyond where we are? Because at that point, it's actually dangerous as well. When you become complacent with earning a certain amount, you become complacent with the lifestyle you're able to live. I've found it harder to maintain the highest quality and keep going once you get to a certain point and you're like, okay, I hit my number. What is left at that point? So I guess to sum it up, the question would be, what would you give to a person that has hit their plateau, they achieved their goal, and they're still lacking to figure out, how do I become still more motivated to go to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I studied Rob Proctor, Think and Grow Rich quite a bit, and what I would say to that is just, if you have something in mind that you want, just imagine yourself in that position, but remember it in the past, and so if you have, the concept of you being motivated, just remember, visualize yourself in that highly motivated position, and interacting with other people. What would that emotion feel like? And if you remember that in the past, it helps, it programs your subconscious so that, that's more likely to happen in the future and to go that next level.
I love that. I think visualization is so important. I use it every single day to visualize myself achieving my goals and getting to where I ultimately want to be. But I also think it's important to have someone who you look up to. So I would say 2 things. So the first one being, you have this one person, but make sure they have been where you are and also are going to where you ultimately want to go, because they've been through all the mistakes, they've been through all of the challenges, and they can help you expedite that process so much faster. Tony Robbins always says you can cross decades into days when you have the right mentor. So again, it's just surrounding yourself by those people and making sure they've been where you are, because there's a lot of successful people. You could want money, you can want fame, but have they been through those challenges? Can they help you in those dark times? So I would say those 2 things.
That's all great answers. For me, is hire someone smarter than you, and if you can't pay them, partner up with them. Because yes, you can. Imagination is very important, but you're that smart, and this is your knowledge. This is your limit. So if you don't have time to study because you're doing so much in your business, find someone that knows stuff that you don't know, partner up with them or hire them. Try to hire them first.
Partnering up is really tricky.